Hi folks, Walter Rauschenbusch, Chapter 2 of Christianity and the Social Crisis, the Social Aims of Jesus. And this subhead is, Jesus Not a Social Reformer. Under the influence of this new historical study of Christ, and under the pressure of the intense new social interest in contemporary life, the pendulum is now swinging the other way, that is, away from the divine Jesus to the human Jesus. Men are seizing on Jesus as the exponent of their own social convictions. They all claim him. He was the first socialist. Nay, he was a Tolstoyan anarchist. Not at all. He was an upholder of law and order, a fundamental opponent of the closed shop. These are various views that were obviously there in 1907 when Rauschenbusch wrote this. It is a great tribute to his, that is Christ's power over men, and to the many-sidedness of his thought, that all seek shelter in his great shadow. But in truth, Jesus was not a social reformer of the modern type. Sociology and political economy were just as far outside of his range of thought as organic chemistry or the geography of America. He saw the evil in the life of men and their sufferings, but he approached these facts purely from the moral and not from the economic or historical point of view. He wanted men to live a right life in common, and only insofar as the social questions are moral questions did he deal with them as they confronted him. And he was more than a teacher of morality. Jesus had learned the greatest and deepest and rarest secret of all, how to live a religious life. When the question of economic wants is solved for the individual, and all his outward adjustments are as comfortable as possible, he may still be haunted by the horrible emptiness of his life and feel that existence is a meaningless riddle and delusion. If the question of the distribution of wealth were solved for all society, and all lived in average comfort and without urgent anxiety, the question would still be how many would be at peace with their own souls and have that enduring joy and contentment which alone can make the outward things fair and sweet and rise victorious over change. Universal prosperity would not be incompatible with universal ennui and Weltschmerz, which is basically misery. Beyond the question of economic distribution lies the question of moral relations, and beyond the moral relations to men lies the question of the religious communion with that spiritual reality in which we live and move and have our deepest being with God, the Father of our spirits. Jesus had realized the life of God in the soul of man and the life of man in the love of God. That was the real secret of his life, the wellspring of his purity, his compassion, his unwearied courage, his unquenchable idealism. He knew the Father. But if he had that greatest of all possessions, the real key to the secret of life, it was his highest social duty to share it and help others to gain what he had. He had to teach men to live as children in the presence of their Father and no longer as slaves cringing before a despot. He had to show them that the ordinary life of selfishness and hate and anxiety and chafing ambition and covetousness is no life at all, and that they must enter into a new world of love and solidarity and inward contentment. There was no service that he could render to men which would equal that. All other help lay in concentric circles about that redemption of the Spirit and flowed out from it. No comprehension of Jesus is even approximately true which fails to understand that the heart of his heart was religion. No man is a follower of Jesus in the full sense who has not through him entered into the same life with God. But on the other hand, no man shares his life with God whose religion does not flow out naturally and without effort into all relations of his life and reconstructs everything that it touches. Whoever uncouples the religious and the social life has not understood Jesus. Whoever sets any bounds for the reconstructive power of the religious life over the social relations and institutions of men, to that extent denies the faith of the Master. So next time Rauschenbusch goes into Christ's relation to contemporary movements, I put a link into what did they say about Jesus. We did several videos on that a couple of years ago, and this one is about what did Thomas Jefferson and Thomas Paine say about Jesus Christ?